So with the LS swapped Honda Accord, what I really wanted to get to was putting the motor in the car as soon as I possibly could. But after thinking about it, after evaluating the entire thing, what I think I have to do and what makes the most sense to me is I want to get a lot of the systems done before we actually put the motor in the car. For example, all the fuel lines, I kind of want to get that addressed, also the clutch lines. So today, in this video, we're going to go ahead and attack what you should attack in every single project. We just want to get stuff done.
And now, you're watching the Ghost Rider for all the best, worst SoundCloud rappers channel of YouTube. Welcome to Bodie Vision.
Hey, so what's happening? Thank you so much for joining me on yet another video. So like I said, we got the motor right here. This is actually a 5.7 liter LS1. If you're not familiar with everything that's been going on, that's what it is. I got it out of a 2004 GTO. This is a 1988 Honda Accord. We have the GTO subframe in the front. Entire engine bay prepped and ready to go. I got the brake lines pretty much completely ran. So the brakes, that's looking good. We don't have to worry about that. Now what we have to address is the clutch line and all of the fuel lines. So the fuel lines, we're going with AN everything from front to back. So what I gotta do is I gotta run the main line coming from the tank to the filter regulator, then from the filter regulator all the way up to the fuel rail, and also from the filter regulator because that filters and regulates, meaning it uses a return line. So we have fuel coming in, fuel going back, and fuel going to the fuel rail. So I got all these fittings, and mapping it out at home was actually a mistake because I thought this was sitting this way, meaning it returned with a 180 and it didn't. So I'm just gonna go ahead and see what I got, see what I still need to order, and we can for sure knock out a couple lines. So with the AN fittings, it's actually pretty simple. This is exactly how they come. This is called the hose end piece, and how you make the hose ends is, if you can see, this comes apart and then you have it in two separate pieces. This one can still swivel, but this will never separate. This is actually the end that goes on the hose. You gotta get the hose inside of there right up to those grooves in there. Then once the hose is in there, you gotta keep it tight, and then you push this one in there while the hose is staying stationary, and you got to make sure the hose doesn't slide out backwards. And as this rotates down, it actually mushes the rubber hose outwards into this tapered area. And then once this is all tight, the hose is in there, it's squeezed, it'll never ever move. This is probably one of the best style fittings that you can use. And then if you can see right here, so the liquid is actually going into the hose way further than the end of the hose itself. So the end of the hose will be somewhere in here, and it's going into the liquid actually right there. Looks good. So well, I actually haven't filmed in a couple of days. I got a bunch of people messaging me what's going on. It's been about a week since I uploaded a video. Now, what I've been doing is I just kind of came to the realization that every single video that I was filming, I was getting about 2% of the entire project done, because I was spending time filming, then doing the shots, and then doing the talking points, and sometimes I gotta redo them because I'm not perfect at this by any means, so that takes time. It was slowing down everything. So what I ended up deciding was I'm just gonna put the camera down, and I got to get a lot of stuff done. I wasn't satisfied with how some of the stuff was in the last couple of videos, in the sense of not a lot at all got done. I felt like I wasn't showing good content, so I just wanted to stop, slow down, get some work done, so that way I can finally have something really good to show you, or some really good progress to show you for that matter. So let's just start at the back of the car and work our way forward. So what I did right here in this area, it looks normal and everything, but one thing with this car, with my little fuel filler door, we're gonna wanna go wide body. I just wanna have a panel over this. I don't wanna have to worry about working around all this area and doing all kinds of contours. I don't even wanna worry about it. So that fuel filler door is going to be gone. And what we have right here, this is a little homage to the classics. So right here, open up, put your gas in right there. And then I have a bracket on the way that's actually going to take my license plate and either pivot it up or pivot it down. I haven't decided yet. The way that that works is it's just going to bolt into the OEM location. This is going to bolt to the bracket with a spring on it, and whenever I want to get gas, I'll just lift it up and that'll be all good. So that's really cool. I had to do a bunch of modifications to make this work. I had to build this box in here and get rid of all this, and then I welded this to the box. So what we have right here is this, and we also have the little breather right here, and then this is going to go right into there. I had to drill a hole for that to fill in. That's just sitting there, so the pipe's gonna go right there. Then we have this bulkhead, that's for the return, so I'm waiting on one more fitting. I'm waiting on a 90-degree hose end fitting, a 6AN hose end fitting to go right there, because that's gonna sit there, look really good, come around. And then also that lower line, there's the upper one, which is the return. That's the line from the fuel pump that's at the bottom of the tank. It goes into my filter regulator. It filters it, regulates it according to the pressure. Everything that it doesn't need, it sends right back to here. Everything that it does need goes up, forward, all the way around. That wire's just hanging there, and all this is going to be finalized. So that's just up there waiting ready for me. Also, I have all 3 pedals in, clutch pedal in, everything in, and that brings us to the engine bay. So what I've really been focusing on is I want to make sure everything is ready for the motor to just drop in here. So all the brake lines are plumbed, they're all ran, everything is there. I have my proportion valve right here. That's for the back lines, because I want to be able to adjust the rear lines according to how it's behaving, because the weight distribution is going to be a little bit crazy, so I just want that extra adjustability. Also, we have the throttle cable. I needed to build this bracket right here so that way I can use the exact style and the exact throttle cable from the GTO, so that fits in there perfectly. I'm still going to build a little cap or do some kind of plate over there, so that way I keep stuff out of the cabin. And then that comes right over here. That's going to go to the motor. Brakes done, throttle's done, clutch master cylinder is mounted with the reservoir mounted right here. I think that looks really cool. Now this reservoir is a little bit old, but that's just because I'm using the one from the GTO. I might clean it up a little bit more. And then that fuel cable from the back, this is sitting right here with a 90 already on it, completely ready to go. So as soon as we put the motor in, throttle cable's done, all the brake lines are ran, fuel lines are there, clutch master cylinder's there. Everything is looking really good. The steering rack is there, and I really just wanted to knock stuff out. I felt bad that I was just showing you guys me cutting something in this, and I know some of you guys really appreciate that, but I wanted to get stuff done. And moving along with getting stuff done, we have the entire motor wired up, all the injectors good, everything good. That's for my wideband O2 sensor, and this looks really good. Also, I cut off part of this bracket, so this is really good. Everything's looking really good. And basically, all in all, what I'm saying is I just wanted to get stuff done, so I stopped filming a little bit. I really apologize. But now what we want to work towards is getting the motor in the car. Alright, so it's been a couple of hours yet again, and we got all the power steering lines all set up. That's just sitting right there, going to the steering rack, and everything's just kind of sitting out of the way. I got the mounts here Josh, what's up, man?
What's up, man? I mean, I haven't seen this in a while, but I mean, everything's looking, I don't know if I want to say the word SEMA here, but it's looking pretty good.
My main goal with the cars, I just want to have fun with it. SEMA would be really cool. That'd be awesome if we could do it, but the even more cool thing is when I'm going to be able to rip, have a good time. And the next step to do, we're about ready. The motor sitting right here is about to go in there. So Josh came over, giving me a hand. Thanks for coming out.
You're welcome.
And we'll
looks like a show car, but we know it's gonna get rowdy.
Yeah, we'll get it slammed in there and then see what's next. This thing it should be pretty quick going from here on out, but that's what you always say, right? You wanna go up a little bit higher?
Yeah, go up a little bit. Okay, you're good.
Okay. I'm gonna go up more.
Plenty high enough right now.
Okay. Alright, then we'll push it in to keep the nose of it. And then kick the stand down a little bit on those legs, like downhill just a little bit.
No, I'm good. Yeah, probably about 6 or so here, right there.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay, stop.
Get rid of the lean, right?
Yeah. My first time doing a V8.
I've only ever done V8. Well, I guess I like the 4-door hatch and stuff. But
Yeah. Alright, I mean.
You go in a little bit now, right?
Yeah.
I think the whole motor needs. We'll go backwards more. Like
Yeah.
Into the bed.
Yeah. Backwards, forward, whatever you want to call it.
Is that doing what we want it to do?
Uh-huh. Do you want to look at the transmission end?
Oh man, so it is in there, sitting, the LS. It went pretty good, right Josh? Wouldn't you say, putting it in there?
Yeah, pretty smooth for the most part. I mean,
right, we just kept working with the axes, whatever it is. So we went down a little bit, back a little bit, leaned a little bit, down a little bit, back a little bit, see where we were close, see what we had to do. One thing that I hadn't done before is I never put it in with the steering rack in there because I never had all the lines ran for power steering, but I had to do that beforehand and I didn't do that for mock-up, so the steering rack actually got in our way. We had to go ahead and unbolt the steering rack, tilt it back just a little bit. That gave us just enough clearance, right? And then that was pretty much it, right?
yeah, that was pretty much it. I mean, it's kind of like putting a V8 in any car. Yeah, I mean, but there is no form about this. There is no manual. There is no person you can ask about putting an LS into an 88 Accord, you know, so it's...
Right, and one thing is that it is tight. I mean, it is tight in there. Some of the stuff is really close, but was anybody ever thinking that it wouldn't be tight? I mean, people were thinking that it wouldn't work, and here it is. It's just a little tight, but side to side for headers, we got plenty of room because if you think about it before, in the engine bay, the entire motor and trans was in there because of how it was sitting transverse. That's the word, right? Transversely?
Yep,
transverse. So now we got room for the headers. Everything else looking pretty good, buttoning things up. Josh, thanks for helping me throw it in there. I couldn't have done it without you. I was thinking I might try, but it's a good thing I didn't.
Yeah, it was my first V8 going into a Honda, so.
Yeah, I think it was a lot of your guys' first V8 going into a Honda as well. So, check out the merch. I think that's going to be it for this one. I got all new stock of the retro logo stuff that's in there. Well, just the simple logo stuff because that sold out pretty quickly. A lot of those shirts are in there now. I might have more cat stuff on the way. Also, I have the retro logo trucker hat in there as well. So go check that out. Any purchase in there really helps out for this project because this project is getting expensive. So that's going to be it for this one, you guys. Thank you so much for watching. I'm out. See ya.
We out.